Hello there and welcome back to another video. If you've clicked on this video, you've most likely seen the last episode in this series. If not, you should go watch it. I'll leave a link in the description. In this series I spin a wheel each episode containing the names of every Halo in game, excluding the ones I've already gotten from the challenge. And whatever Halo it lands on is the one I have to trade up for in the episode. In the first episode I traded up for Mermaid Halo 2020. And in the last episode, after a couple years of not playing, I traded up for the Enchanterverse Halo. The main problem I'm running into right now is that if it lands on a low-tier Halo, I could just buy it because I made sure to leave myself with a few million diamonds so I would have something to work with for the next episode. Which I know these videos aren't exactly the most entertaining thing in the world, but at least it's not as boring as watching someone do an intro, spin a wheel, buy a Halo, then end the video. It gives the impression that profit trading and buying Halos doesn't take much time and it's easy, when in reality it takes a lot of time and patience and hard work. So I've decided that if the wheel does land on a lower tier Halo, I'm going to spin it for a second time so that instead of just buying one small Halo, I'll also have another goal to work towards that I can show the progress for. Anyways, I'd appreciate it a lot if you'd follow me on Roblox. Link will be in the description. And if you enjoy this series so far, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn notifications on so you don't miss out when the next episode drops. That's enough of the annoying advertising stuff, let's get into the wheel spinning. Autumn Halo 2019. I decided to spin the wheel again to give myself a secondary goal for the video as I felt Autumn 19 wasn't a significant enough goal for me. I then spun the wheel for a third time to give myself even more of a challenge, and it landed on Spring Halo 21. This is pretty much everything I'm starting off with in this episode. My goal will be to reach about 5 million in value before I buy the Halos. Now that I've explained pretty much everything that needs to be explained, let's get on to some trades, shall we? For the first trade of the video, I purchased this charmed heart skirt and starlight sneaks for 130k. I should be able to resell them for 10k profit. I then purchased some snowswan heels for 55k diamonds, which always resell for 60k. I did the same trade afterwards with a different person, which I then traded for starlight sneaks. I then purchased this ice fairy dress for 87k. I should be able to resell it for 90k and maybe 95k if I'm lucky. Somebody listed their posy skirt at 50k on Traddery. I bought it so fast you have no idea. I purchased this pacifier afterwards for 30k, which should realistically sell for 40k. I purchased some more Goddess of Triumph heels for 100k diamonds. I purchased some Gothicutie boots for 18k, I can hopefully resell them for 20k. I then purchased more starlight sneaks for 60k diamonds. As expected, the posy skirt sold for 75k diamonds. I purchased some more Goddess of Triumph heels for 100k diamonds. Afterwards I purchased 2 Angelic Promises necklaces, both for 55k. And another pacifier for 35k diamonds. Some snow swan heels sold easily for 60k diamonds. I purchased this Goddess of Triumph bodice for 75k diamonds, which I can resell for 80k. I also then purchased this celestial veil for 10k diamonds. With a bit of time I can resell it for 11 to 12k diamonds. I purchased even more snow swan heels for 100k diamonds. By some miracle this door handle sold for 1k diamonds. The watercolor shoes sold for 120k diamonds afterwards. And the charmed heart skirt sold for 75k diamonds. One of the Angelic Promises necklaces sold easily for 66k diamonds. Somebody sold me this Opposites Attract dress for 21k diamonds, which I then resold for 25k diamonds. I sold some Gothic Cutie boots for 20k diamonds afterwards. I purchased this Whimsy Witch bodice for 15k diamonds. You'd be surprised how many people will sell them at that, only for it to then resell fairly quickly for 20k diamonds. I purchased this Nymph dress for 60k diamonds, and this Dear Dolly skirt for 7k diamonds, which sold instantly for 8k. The prom dress then sold for 280k, they always sell easily. I purchased another Posy skirt for 71k diamonds. The Wicked Vampress bodice sold for 130k. In classic profit trading fashion, I couldn't resist the good deal of 55k for Snow Swan heels. I purchased this Posy butterfly for 100k afterwards. I know it's a little early, but I purchased Autumn 2019 for 600k diamonds, meaning my goal will now be around 4.4 million diamonds. I then purchased another Angelic Promises necklace for 60k diamonds, which sold instantly for 66k diamonds. I purchased another Posy skirt for 70k diamonds, which is a 5k win. Afterwards I purchased this Ice Fairy dress for 80k, which is an easy 10k win. It sold right after for 90k diamonds. I forgot to record it, but I sold Goddess of Triumph heels for 110k. I then sold this Angelic Promises necklace for 66k diamonds. I purchased this Posy crown for 245k diamonds. I purchased this Posy crown for 245k diamonds. I then sold this pacifier for 38k diamonds. The Posy butterfly then sold for 115k diamonds, and the OA dress for 25k diamonds. The Nymph dress also then sold for 65k diamonds. The Lucky 20 Halo then sold for 400k diamonds as expected. After mostly getting sales, I purchased more Snow Swan heels for 50k diamonds, which then sold for 60k diamonds. I eventually and quickly traded the Posy crown for this Goddess of Triumph parasol, which sold afterwards for 280k diamonds. I purchased this Avrilla skirt for 240k diamonds, which is a nice win. I sold some Gothic Cutie boots for 20k diamonds. I traded some Goddess of Triumph heels for Otherworldly Potion, Sky heels and TTYL purse. Shortly after I purchased more Starlight sneaks for 60k diamonds. I then purchased this Steampunk skirt for 30k diamonds. This Steampunk bodice sold for 85k diamonds eventually. I then sold Goddess of Triumph heels afterwards for 110k diamonds, and Starlight sneaks for 65k diamonds. I sold yet another pair of Goddess of Triumph heels for 110k diamonds. I know it's looking a little repetitive item-wise right now, but I sold more Starlight sneaks for 65k. Thankfully, the Sky heels sold for 40k diamonds. I did a little bit of gambling, and traded this Ice Fairy dress, Posy skirt and 35k for this Queen Bee set, which will give me a chance to polish my skills on selling a pile of shit. I then did more gambling by trading this Avrilla skirt and 440k diamonds for Spring 20 and Winter 18. Almost immediately afterwards Winter 18 sold for 400k diamonds. I purchased this Posy butterfly for 100k diamonds. This Charmed Heart bodice then sold for 85k diamonds. I traded this Spring 20 for a bunch of items. I should be able to make a decent chunk of profit from reselling everything. These Summer Fantasy heels sold for 15k diamonds. I then sold these Dear Dolly heels for 15k diamonds. These Goddess of Triumph heels then sold for 110k diamonds as normal. I purchased these TTYL earrings from Pookie Bear so I'd have the full set. This long sword then sold for 1.5k diamonds. And these spring blossoms for 2k. I purchased these Winter Guardian antlers so I'd be able to sell the items as the full set. These Goddess of Triumph sleeves sold for 45k diamonds. This PP bodice then sold for 15k diamonds afterwards. I purchased even more Snow Swan heels for 55k diamonds. I purchased more Goddess of Triumph heels for 100k diamonds. I then sold the Opposites Attract headphones for 5k diamonds. And the Posy Butterfly sold for 115k diamonds. I purchased these OA boots and steampunk skirt for 55k diamonds. What a steal! The OA boots sold for 25k diamonds very shortly after. I purchased more for 20k diamonds afterwards. On the topic of reinvesting, I purchased watercolor shoes for 110k diamonds. And more for 115k diamonds. They usually sell quite well for 118k diamonds. I purchased the Opposites Attract set for 80k, hopefully I can use it to trade for one item that's worth a little bit more. On the topic of sets, the Winter Guardian set sold for 45k diamonds. I purchased more Gothicutie boots for 15k diamonds. Some Whimsy Witch shoes for 40k diamonds. Steampunk skirt for 35k. And this Charmed Heart skirt for 73k diamonds. After a little bit of time, the Cheer set thankfully sold for 205k diamonds. I traded the Opposites Attract set for some bunny slippers. I know I've purchased a few pairs of watercolor shoes in a short amount of time, but the deal was too good to pass on. I traded this Goddess of Triumph bodice and 20k diamonds for watercolor shoes, which is an 18k win. I sold some more Goddess of Triumph heels for 110k diamonds. And another pair after for the same amount. The Whimsy Witch shoes then sold for 50k diamonds. I sold Gothicutie boots for an easy 20k diamonds. Surprisingly, the pastel high tops sold for 6,500 diamonds. I purchased more watercolor shoes for 110k diamonds. The Otherworldly potion sold for 50k diamonds. And the steampunk skirt sold for 40k diamonds. The Ice Fairy dress then sold for 90k diamonds. After a train of selling items, I purchased this Vok dress for 160k diamonds. These Snow Swan heels sold for 60k diamonds. The Charmed Heart skirt sold for 75k diamonds. The Vok dress then sold very quickly for 200k diamonds. They always sell pretty much instantly most of the time. The Dear Dolly bodice sold for 6,969 diamonds. Some Snow Swan heels sold afterwards again for 60k diamonds. I purchased this Whimsy Witch bodice for 15k diamonds. They always sell relatively easily for 18 to 20k diamonds. I purchased this Whimsy Witch bodice for 15k diamonds. They always sell relatively easily for 18 to 20k diamonds. The Snow Swan sleeves and Starlight sneaks sold together for 80k diamonds. I purchased Lucky 20 for 350k diamonds. I purchased these DCD shoes afterwards for 15k diamonds. I then purchased even more watercolor shoes for 105k diamonds. I traded this Posy skirt for 60k and Gothicutie boots. That's another 5k win in the bag. Straight after somebody purchased my OA and Gothicutie boots for 45k diamonds. One of the watercolor shoes sold for 118k diamonds. I purchased a prom dress for the steal of 230k diamonds. After what felt like 696,969 years, The Mon Cherie sleeves finally sold for 12k diamonds. The bunny slippers sold for 90k diamonds. Some DCD shoes then sold for 20k diamonds. And the prom dress sold for 280k diamonds. After a little bit of just selling, I purchased this Royal Rebel skirt for 8.5k diamonds. I then bought Dear Dolly heels for 15k, they sell fairly well for 20k diamonds. Some of the Starlight sneaks sold for 65k diamonds. I traded some watercolor shoes for 105k and summer fantasy heels. And some more DCD heels for 15k diamonds. I then sold more Snow Swan heels for 15k diamonds. I purchased more Whimsy Witch shoes for 45k diamonds. I also bought more Snow Swan heels for 50k diamonds. I then purchased more Dear Dolly heels for 15k diamonds. And this Shadow Empress bodice for 6,969 diamonds. I then purchased this Goddess of Triumph bodice for 70k diamonds. Some Snow Swan heels sold for 60k diamonds. I then managed to get 22k for these Dear Dolly heels. I purchased some Goddess of Triumph sleeves for 40k diamonds. The Celestial Veil sold for 12k diamonds. Some more Snow Swan heels sold for 60k diamonds as normal. I purchased some more for 55k diamonds. I then purchased more Goddess of Triumph heels for 100k diamonds. The Summer Fantasy heels then sold for 16k diamonds. The Darling Academia uniform sold for 12k diamonds. The Goddess of Triumph gloves then sold afterwards for 47k diamonds. More Snow Swan sleeves then sold for 15k diamonds. I then purchased more Snow Swan heels for 50k diamonds. And some Shadow Empress boots for 10k diamonds. The Whimsy Witch shoes sold for 50k diamonds. I then managed to sell the Starfrost cape for 4k diamonds. Some more Starlight sneaks sold for 65k diamonds. I bought this Nymph dress for 60k diamonds. I then purchased more Starlight sneaks for 60k diamonds. The Summit Shredder bodice then finally sold for 15k diamonds. I purchased this backpack for 15k diamonds. I also purchased more Starlight sneaks for 60k diamonds. The Miss Lady Rose bodice sold for 3k diamonds. I traded Lucky 20 for 350k and Goddess of Triumph sleeves. The Summer Fantasy skirt sold for 10k diamonds. The Snow Swan heels sold again as usual for the nice consistent price of 60k diamonds. Some more Snow Swan heels sold for the same price afterwards. Some more Starlight sneaks then sold for 65k diamonds. I purchased this Charmed Heart skirt for 69k diamonds. I then sold some more December's Dreams heels for 19k diamonds. And December's Dreams earrings sold for 2,569 diamonds. The cotton tote then finally sold for 5k diamonds. I then purchased more Starlight sneaks for 60k diamonds. And another pair of Starlight sneaks afterwards for 50k diamonds. I sold another Academia uniform for 12k diamonds. The Charmed Heart skirt sold for 75k diamonds. I then purchased more Goddess of Triumph heels for 100k diamonds. I sold the Steampunk skirt for 38k diamonds. I then purchased some cookie cutters and a Cherry Blossom skirt for 17k diamonds. I then sold the Shadow Empress bodice for 8,569 diamonds. I purchased some Lullaby heels for 40k diamonds, which is a nice 10k win. I then bought more Goddess of Triumph heels for 105k diamonds. They then sold for 110k diamonds. This Crown Court skirt then sold for 250k diamonds. And the nymph dress sold for 65k diamonds. I purchased this December's Dreams skirt for 20k diamonds, which is always a nice win. Some of the watercolor shoes sold for 18k diamonds. I then sold the Lullaby shoes for 49k diamonds. I purchased this steampunk bodice for 80k diamonds. I then purchased this Halloween 2018 halo for 350k diamonds, which is a nice 30 to 50k win. I then bought Mermaid Halo 19 for 569k diamonds, which is at 11k win. Somebody sold me more Gothicutie boots for 15k diamonds. I traded some cookie cutters for Dear Dolly heels. I then purchased another crowned court skirt for 230k diamonds. Some of the Gothicutie boots sold for 20k diamonds as they normally would. I purchased some more Snow Swan heels for 55k diamonds. The Whimsy Witch bodice then sold for 19,069 diamonds. And the crowned court skirt then sold quickly for 250k diamonds. I bought more OA boots for 20k diamonds, they always sell easily for 25k. The steampunk bodice then sold for 85k. And some more Starlight sneaks sold for 65k diamonds. As did a second pair of Starlight sneaks after. After a fairly long while, the Summit Shredder goggles finally sold for 5k diamonds. The backpack then sold for 20k diamonds. I purchased some more Starlight sneaks for 55k diamonds, which then sold for 65k diamonds. Some Snow Swan heels sold for 60k diamonds. I purchased another Lucky 20 halo for 390k diamonds. The December's Dreams skirt then sold for 25k diamonds. And the Shadow Empress boots sold for 12k diamonds eventually. More Snow Swan heels then sold for 60k diamonds. Some Dear Dolly heels sold for 20k diamonds. I bought more Snow Swan heels for 55k diamonds. I then purchased more Lullaby shoes for 40k diamonds, which is 10k profit. Halloween 2018 sold for 380k diamonds. I purchased more Opposites Attract boots for 20k diamonds. I then purchased Winter 2018 for 385k diamonds. I also purchased another steampunk bodice for 80k diamonds. And some Opposites Attract gloves for 11k diamonds. I then sold the Opposites Attract boots for 25k diamonds. I also then sold another pair afterwards for 25k diamonds. I purchased another crowned court skirt for 230k diamonds. This Opposites Attract dress then sold for 30k diamonds. And eventually, the TTYL purse sold for 6,969 diamonds. I purchased some Posy sleeves for 50k diamonds. I then purchased some more Starlight sneaks for 61k diamonds. And more for 60k diamonds. I then purchased this Posy skirt for 70k diamonds. I also purchased more Goddess of Triumph heels for 100k diamonds. And shock horror, to nobody's surprise, I purchased more Starlight sneaks. This time for 56k diamonds. I then purchased more Gothicutie boots for 15k diamonds. And yet again, I bought more Starlight sneaks for the steal of 60k diamonds. I purchased this Dear Dolly set for 30k diamonds. The Celestial Veil sold for 12k diamonds. I purchased this Snow Swan bodice for 17k diamonds, it'll sell for 20k diamonds. I then purchased this parasol for 30k diamonds. I bought two Dear Dolly bodices, one for 6k diamonds, and another for 5k. The Sugar Dough skirt then sold for 110k diamonds. And the Posy sleeves sold for 58k diamonds. Some Starlight sneaks sold for 65k diamonds. The Goddess of Triumph gloves sold for 45k diamonds. This crowned court skirt sold for 250k diamonds. The Dear Dolly bodice sold for 6,969 diamonds. I purchased some more Dear Dolly heels for 13k diamonds. I then purchased more for the same price. This snow swan hat finally sold for 3,569 diamonds. I then sold this parasol for 35k diamonds. I then sold another Dear Dolly bodice for 7k diamonds. I purchased another crown court skirt for 230k diamonds. This posy skirt sold for 75k diamonds. I purchased another Lucky 20 halo for 370k diamonds. The Royal Rebel skirt sold for 10k diamonds. I purchased this nymph dress for 60k diamonds. This crown court skirt then sold for 250k diamonds. Some more watercolor shoes sold for 118k diamonds. This steampunk bodice then sold for 85k diamonds. This Dear Dolly back bow sold for 569 diamonds. I purchased another academia uniform for 10k diamonds. These Dear Dolly heels sold for 20k diamonds. This nymph dress then sold for 65k diamonds. Somebody purchased these Dear Dolly gloves for 2k diamonds. She then purchased the rest of the set for 38k diamonds. I purchased more posy sleeves for 50k diamonds. The Snow Swan bodice sold for 20k diamonds. I purchased some Merry Marching Band boots for 25k diamonds. I then bought some Whimsy Witch shoes for 45k diamonds. This Slay It skirt sold for 3k diamonds. These Starlight sneaks then sold for 65k diamonds. I purchased this posy skirt for 70k diamonds. These Goddess of Triumph heels sold for 110k diamonds. I then sold these Dear Dolly heels for 20k diamonds. I purchased another crown court skirt for 230k diamonds. I purchased another crown court skirt afterwards for the same price. I bought some caddy glasses for 25k diamonds. These Whimsy Witch shoes sold for 50k diamonds. The posy skirt sold for 75k diamonds. These Starlight sneaks then sold for 65k diamonds. I purchased these Summer Fantasy heels for 15k diamonds. By some miracle somebody sold me Halloween Halo 18 for 325k diamonds. I purchased more Gothicutie boots for 16k diamonds. More Starlight sneaks sold for 65k diamonds. Some Goddess of Triumph heels then sold for 110k diamonds. The Summer Fantasy heels sold quickly for 17k diamonds. This Academia uniform then sold for 12k diamonds. The Goddess of Triumph bodice eventually sold for 80k diamonds. The posy sleeves then sold for 58k diamonds. Some more Goddess of Triumph heels sold for 110k diamonds. I purchased this Snow Swan skirt for 20k diamonds. I then purchased this marching band skirt for 15k diamonds. I purchased a few Snow Swan items for 88k diamonds. I then purchased some Whimsy Witch shoes for 40k diamonds. I bought some more Snow Swan heels for 50k diamonds. I purchased more Snow Swan sleeves for 15k diamonds. Some Snow Swan heels sold straight after for 60k diamonds. I purchased more Dear Dolly heels for 15k diamonds. I then sold the other pair of Snow Swan heels for 61k diamonds. The Merry Marching Band skirt sold for 22k diamonds. And the Snow Swan skirt sold for 25k diamonds. I purchased this Vok dress for 169k diamonds, which then sold instantly for 200k diamonds. The Whimsy Witch skirt sold for 35k diamonds. I purchased this Vok helm for 55k diamonds. These Starlight sneaks sold for 65k diamonds. I purchased 180k worth of items for 145k diamonds. These DCD shoes sold for 20k diamonds. I purchased another Goddess of Triumph bodice for 69k diamonds. This Lullaby bodice sold for 15k diamonds. I purchased this OA dress for 25k diamonds. I then purchased this parasol for 30k diamonds. The marching band boots then sold for 30k diamonds. This crowned court skirt sold for 250k diamonds. Afterwards, this Goddess of Triumph bodice then sold for 80k diamonds. I purchased this cozy coquette skirt for 180k diamonds. I traded the cozy skirt and Goddess of Triumph earrings for this Vok dress. The Goddess of Triumph gloves sold for 45k diamonds. This back bow sold for 600 diamonds. I purchased some Avrilla boots for 490k, which sold instantly for 500k diamonds. Some Dear Dolly gloves sold for 1.5k diamonds. This Vok dress sold for 200k diamonds. These Dear Dolly heels then sold for 20k diamonds. I purchased some more summer fantasy heels for 10k diamonds. I then purchased more afterwards for 15k. And some more for 13k diamonds. I then purchased this Vok helm for 50k diamonds, which sold for 58k diamonds. I traded Winter Halo 2018 for 65k diamonds, crowned court skirt, and Goddess of Triumph skirt. I purchased this harp from one of my Pookie bears for 4.5k diamonds. I sold these Gothicutie sleeves for 12k diamonds. I purchased Glitterfrost Halo 2023 for 900k diamonds, which is an absolute steal. It also means that I've now obtained 2 out of 3 gold halos for this episode. I then purchased another Dear Dolly set for 30k diamonds. I also then purchased this charmed heart skirt for 69k diamonds. I purchased more DCD heels for 15k diamonds afterwards. This elegant parasol sold for 25k diamonds. Then this snow swan bodice sold for 20k diamonds. I purchased some bunny slippers for 85k diamonds. The Whimsy Witch shoes sold for 50k diamonds. I purchased some more snow swan heels for 55k diamonds. These summer fantasy heels sold for 16,569 diamonds. The TTYL set then eventually sold for 55k diamonds. By some miracle which I can only describe as divine intervention, somebody was selling their Avrilla skirt and watercolor set for 310k diamonds. What a massive win here on my part. These snow swan sleeves sold for 17k diamonds. I then purchased the Dear Dolly set again, this time for 25k diamonds. I purchased some more lullaby heels after for 45k diamonds. I then purchased some more snow swan heels for 50k diamonds. For the final trade of the video, I traded Mermaid Halo 2019, DCD hat and Heavenly Harp for Spring Halo 21. Which means I have completed this episode's goal by obtaining all 3 of the halos that the wheel landed on. After a couple of days of profit trading, I finally obtained all 3 gold halos for this episode and enough items/diamonds for next episode. If for whatever reason you've made it this far in, thank you. I spend a lot of time making these videos as well as trading, so seeing even just 20 views got me really excited. I hope that somewhere, somebody will learn something about profit trading from these videos and do something insane. As always, I hope you have an amazing day. See you next time.
Fucking shit, oh. I'm gonna touch myself. I've only wished 200 times. What the fuck? Ugh. No, I just saw Halo. What the, Oh my, oh, yes, talk to me. Talk. Oh, talk. Just keep talking, yes. Keep going, oh god. Oh my god. Oh, my heart's beating so fast. I have heart problems too. I shouldn't be, Oh. Oh. No fucking way. No, no. Oh god. Wait. Oh, 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 oh. Hold up, I'm flexing chat. Hold up. Alright. Oh. Oh, keep. Oh god. Oh my god. Oh.